Hello guys, this is Mo from Mo's Football. I'm back on IGTV. I'm back on YouTube. I'm really excited to get this started. Really excited to get this kicking. This is a great week. To be honest, I'm really excited. It's gonna be a turning point for a lot of people this week, especially with the Manchester City double game week. Absolutely interesting, by the way. It's a really interesting double game week for Manchester City. So let's get started. Let's see what's happening, what's popping in the fantasy football. I'm gonna change it up a little bit. I used to analyze game by game. Right now, I'm gonna change it up a little bit. I'm gonna analyze position by position in fantasy football, which will eventually analyze game by game. Hopefully, we'll get a better understanding of both. We'll get a better fusion of both, so that you guys could understand it a little bit better, a little bit, relatable to fantasy football. So let's get started. In goalkeeping, in the goalkeeper position, I'm gonna recommend definitely Casper Schmeichel against because Leicester City is playing against Brighton. Casper Schmeichel is one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League. He had a phenomenal game against who did they play? Burnley. Yeah, he had a phenomenal game against Burnley. He had 6 saves against Burnley. Wow, by the way. Unfortunately, he was not able to get the clean sheet. They scored in the second minute. Pretty quick goal. However, yeah, Casper Schmeichel, I do recommend Casper Schmeichel because he's playing against Brighton this week. It's an easy team to defend against. And if he fails to get the clean sheet against Brighton, he could get a better opportunity against Sheffield next week. So Casper Schmeichel in general is a great investment. So yeah, I would definitely go for Casper Schmeichel. The second goalkeeper I do recommend is definitely Emiliano Martinez. Not because they're playing against Wolves, it's because Emiliano Martinez always does a lot. Even if he doesn't get the clean sheet, he gets a lot of saves, he gets you 3 points. You know what I mean? So Emiliano Martinez is definitely a goalkeeper to keep forever. I always recommend people to get Emiliano Martinez, and I myself regret selling Emiliano Martinez. I'm great at giving advice, but implementing it on my own team absolutely suck. So yeah, absolutely regret Emiliano Martinez. I mean, for God's sake, Emiliano Martinez got 10 points in only one game. In only one game last week, he played 2 games. Second game, he didn't do that much, but in one game, he was able to get 10 points. So yeah, definitely I do recommend getting Emiliano Martinez. And of course, in the goalkeeper position, another goalkeeper in the goalkeeper position, I definitely recommend Pedro Neto for Arsenal. I mean, the German beast. They're playing against Arsenal's playing against Burnley. It's gonna be an easy game defensively for Arsenal because Burnley is a very weak in attack. So I do believe Pedro Neto is gonna have an easy clean sheet this week. He better. Arsenal really needs it. Really needs the clean sheets. Really needs the confidence in defense. So I hope Pedro Neto was able to provide that for them at least this week. And the final goalkeeper I recommend. So it's gonna be a battle between West Brom versus Newcastle. Of course, we have an amazing two amazing goalkeepers, Darlow and Johnston, and anyone in their right mind would say that Newcastle is the better team, and that's why they have a better chance at getting the clean sheet. However, I'd say otherwise. I would choose Johnston. Like, if I had to choose between the two, I'd choose Johnston. 1, he has the most amount of saves in the Premier League. 2, Callum Wilson is out. He's not playing against West Brom. So I do believe that the star of Newcastle, the goal scorer of Newcastle is injured. So I don't think Newcastle is gonna have a chance at scoring against West Brom, especially if they play 5 at the back. So yeah, I'll definitely go for Johnston, not Darlow. But you could go ahead to go for Darlow. It's gonna be a very close one. It's also a kind of a risk going for Johnston, but I would definitely go for Johnston if you want to go for one of the two. And Johnston, if he gets the clean sheet, I know he's gonna make bank. He's gonna get around 10 points. So yeah, I definitely recommend Johnston if you want to take the risk. And in defense, I mean, it only makes sense to choose the players that you like the team, like the corresponding teams that you chose in the goalkeeper positions, I believe that it makes sense that you choose the same team, like the defensive players in these teams on defense. Like for example, in Leicester City, we chose Casper Schmeichel. So in defense, I would recommend Wesley Fofana. The reason why I'm not going for any of the fullbacks because Ricardo Pereira and Timothy Castane, they're really good players, but don't get me wrong, but they're not James Justin. It's just not the same. They don't play the exact same way, and at the same time, Burnley is very weak. Not Burnley. Brighton is very strong defensively, and I don't think they're gonna be able to go out so much. Brighton knows how to play on the counter attack, so freeing up the fullbacks is gonna be very hard for Brendan Rodgers this game. But that's why I'm going for Wesley Fofana, because he has the best chance of going for a header and scoring a goal. So definitely Wesley Fofana is my choice. Wesley Fofana is gonna be back this week. He was on the bench last game. So yeah, so Wesley Fofana will be back. He will start playing again. The second player I recommend. So we chose Aston Villa if we showed Emiliano Martinez, we showed Aston Villa. So I'm going for Matty Target. No explanation why. I don't really need an explanation. The third player I'm going for, so we chose Bernardino. I'm going for Hector Bellerin. Hector Bellerin, with his pace, could break Burnley's defense. Very, very breakable. Bellerin is an absolutely talented right back, one of the best right backs in my opinion in the world. Hector Bellerin, absolutely phenomenal. I think he's gonna get it. I think he's gonna get some points. If he's not able to get the clean sheet, he could be able to get an assist some way or a goal some way somehow. It's just Hector Bellerin things. So yeah, I'll definitely go for Hector Bellerin. And who else did we say? Oh, and of course Newcastle versus West Brom. So I chose Johnston, and it only makes sense to go with Atlan Maitland-Niles. Absolutely phenomenal player. He's a key player in West Brom's defense ever since he got loaned out from Arsenal. So yeah, definitely go for Atlan Maitland-Niles on defense. Now let's get to the interesting part. I know goalkeeping and defending might not be so interesting, so let's get to the interesting part, the midfield and attack. With the midfield and attack, obviously comes the recommendations for captaining players. So I'm gonna go for numero uno. I'm going for Salah. Salah against Fulham. First of all, let me clarify why I did not go for any Liverpool player on defense. Is because Liverpool is playing with Kabak, and Fabinho might be able to join, but right now it was just Kabak and Roy Williams. But even if Fabinho joins, he's joining after a 1 month, 2 month injury, so I don't think he's gonna be fully fit even if he plays. And it's not even his position, you know what I mean? So I'm going for Kabak. So I'm going for Salah in the midfield, and I'm gonna put him in the captain recommendations. If you want to captain someone, I do recommend Salah, captaining Salah. The second player I'm going to recommend in the midfield is Heung-min Son. Heung-min Son is playing, Tottenham is playing against Crystal Palace. Heung-min Son is definitely a player to captain this week. So yeah, I would definitely go for Heung-min Son. I mean, Sonaldo, you know what I mean? Crystal Palace is a very weak defensive player, it's a very weak defensive team, so I would definitely go for Son. Another player I would go for is Bukayo Saka, because Arsenal's playing against Burnley. Burnley is very weak defensively, so I would definitely go for Bukayo Saka. Another player I would go for is definitely Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne is my own personal triple captain player. I'm personally triple captaining Kevin De Bruyne this week. It's scary using the triple captain, but however, Kevin De Bruyne has a double game week. He's playing against Southampton and he's playing against Manchester United. Kevin De Bruyne, please don't fail me. Please don't fail me. So, but yeah, Southampton has been very, very poor. There's a lot of question marks behind Southampton's performances. Why is that happening? Is it Theo Walcott? Is it De Geno? Is it the arrival of Minamino? Because I don't know. Is it Che Adams? I don't know. Like, I really want to understand the reason why Southampton is performing so poorly. There is no solid reason. Anyways, I would definitely go for Kevin De Bruyne as a triple captain. He's playing Manchester United. Kevin De Bruyne tends to shine in big games, so yeah, I'm definitely going for Kevin De Bruyne this game. Although I'm going for Kevin De Bruyne, I'm always going for Bruno Fernandes. Yeah, I'm triple captain Kevin De Bruyne, but Bruno Fernandes is a player that I cannot get rid of personally in the midfield. Bruno Fernandes is the player to have, and a good substitution for Madison or Harvey Barnes, whoever had Madison or Harvey Barnes, I would go for Yuri Tielemans if you want to stick with Leicester City players. Yuri Tielemans is the way to go. Or if you want to take a risk, a little bit of a risk over there, like I said, Emiliano Martinez is a risk. Emiliano Martinez and Target is a risk to have in defense, and also a risk to have in midfield is Pedro Neto. Pedro Neto has been banking goals, assists, goals, assists, goals, assists, week in, week out. Absolutely phenomenal player. So I'm going for Pedro Neto in midfield. If you want to get a substitute for Harvey Barnes or Madison from outside Leicester City, I would definitely recommend Pedro Neto. Or if you want to stay in Leicester City, I would go for Yuri Tielemans. Yuri Tielemans is now playing like kind of a playmaker-ish. So I'll definitely go for Yuri Tielemans. But however, it's a huge question mark, by the way, why after almost all of his wingers got injured, he still refuses to play Under and Albrighton. Brendan Rodgers still refuses to play Under and Albrighton. It's a huge question mark. It's something to think about. Why is he not playing Under and Albrighton? It's really, really weird, but you know what? You do you, Brendan Rodgers. It's okay. So, in general, yeah, I'll go for Yuri Tielemans. Yuri Tielemans, banking assists, banking goals, week in, week out. Absolutely phenomenal player. One of the best number 8s in the world. I find him one of the most underrated players in the world. Yuri Tielemans, of course. So that concludes the midfield. I did a few captains here. I recommended a few possible injury substitutions. So I hope I covered all the grounds for the midfield so that we could move on to the attack in fantasy football. Now in attack, Kane. I'm gonna go for Harry Kane, and he's also a captain choice, a captain like a person I would choose to captain. Harry Kane, absolutely phenomenal. He's playing against Crystal Palace, like I said. A very weak team on defense. Crystal Palace, you know what? Why not? Captaining Harry Kane. Harry Kane, I think he could do something. However, he is the most expensive player in fantasy. He's the most expensive attacker, not expensive most expensive player. He's the most expensive attacker in fantasy football. I just mentioned Salah, Fernandes, Kevin De Bruyne, Son. You know, really, really, really expensive players in the midfield. So I don't think anyone who got these Super 4 or Super 5 will be able to afford Harry Kane too. So let's see who could we get instead of Harry Kane. You know what I mean? So although they're playing against Chelsea this week, I'm going for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. For one reason and one reason only, Calvert-Lewin always has this element of surprise. I know Chelsea has been amazing against Thomas Tuchel on defense. They've been absolutely phenomenal. However, I'm going for Dominic Calvert-Lewin just because he has this element of surprise. It's just something Calvert does. It's in his blood. Calvert does that. It's just something he does. It's his job, the element of surprise. So yeah, I'm definitely going for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Another player that I'm gonna go for in attack. In West Ham, we got Mikel Antonio, and definitely if you want to choose Jesse Lingard in midfield, go ahead. Absolutely phenomenal. But yeah, I'm going for Mikel Antonio. Mikel Antonio is my choice in attack. He's for approximately 6.6 or 6.7 in fancy, if maybe 6. I don't know if he reached 6.8 yet, but yeah, he's in this range. He's not above 7 million. So yeah, I would definitely go for Mikel Antonio. Mikel Antonio is definitely a player to have, especially against Leeds, because Leeds is very, very, very weak defensively. I love Leeds. I love watching Leeds. I enjoy watching Leeds. However, they're one of the poorest teams defensively. Although Illan Millier is one of my favorite goalkeepers in the Premier League, but the defensive line is just really poor, really shaky, and they throw all the load on Illan Millier. So yeah, I'm definitely going for Mikel Antonio this week against Leeds United, just because Leeds United's defense is very shaky. And the last but not least is definitely Gabriel Jesus, also another expensive striker. However, Gabriel Jesus does have a double game week this week. Gabriel Jesus is playing Southampton and Manchester United. By the way, the reason why I did not go for any Manchester City defense is because you can never tell who's playing in defense. It's a thing with Pep Guardiola. You can't tell who's playing in defense. You can't tell if it's gonna be John Stones and Ruben Dias. You can't tell if it's gonna be Ruben Dias and Laporte. You can't tell if it's gonna be Laporte or Stones. Even in the fullback positions, you can't tell if it's Kyle Walker, Cancelo, or Cancelo and Zinchenko, or Kyle Walker, Mendy, Cancelo. You can't tell. You really cannot tell. You cannot tell who's playing who's playing and when are they playing, or who's he choosing this week. It's impossible to figure that out with Pep Guardiola. So I'm keeping Manchester City's defense out of it, and especially that they're playing against Manchester United this week. So I'm keeping Manchester City out of the equation this week. But yeah, back to the topic. I'm definitely choosing Gabriel Jesus this week because he has a double game week. He surprised us all where he got a three bonus points this last week. He scored a couple of goals, absolutely phenomenal. He scored a couple of goals against Wolves, absolutely phenomenal. Gabriel Jesus definitely is a player to have in this double game week. However, he is a risk. Why is he a risk? Because first of all, Aguero is fully fit to play. Second of all, Pep Guardiola enjoys playing the false nine right now. So Gabriel Jesus is not adjusted to the false nine just yet. So I believe Gabriel Jesus is still not there. He's a risk. He's not like that guaranteed striker to have in fantasy football. However, sure, go ahead, go for Gabriel Jesus. He's a good risk to have. If it works, it works really well. If it flops really hard. But that is fantasy football in the end. Gabriel Jesus is my final recommendation of the video, and thank you guys for reaching to the end of the video. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope I was useful to you guys. I tried to cover all the grounds. I'm trying to do a whole new way of making videos, to support support your fantasy football teams, and yeah, that's basically it. I'm just trying to make the best out of the analysis to make it fantasy football focused. So yeah, thank you guys for reaching the end of the video. I hope my analysis was useful, and good luck. Take care, guys. Stay safe.